Hey guys, this video is going to be a lot of fun. So, most of you probably, I'm guessing here, just using intuition, are not familiar with this channel. But the video title caught your attention. And I'm here to tell you, it is not clickbait. I really did this, and it was really awesome. So, let's talk a little bit about it. You guys ever have one of those things where you're like laying in bed one morning and you're like half asleep and you're like, I have an idea. And then you wake up fully, and you get up or whatever, and you're like, you forget about it, and then a little bit later you're like, wait, did I have an idea? And then you're like, yeah, I did. And then you're like, you think about it and you're like, was that really a good idea, or is that just my partial consciousness talking? And then you wonder, right? And then you're like, well, I don't know, I'll give it a try. Well, it's kind of one of those things that happened to me. I was like, come up with this idea, and I'm like, that's crazy. And I was like, well, I don't know, is it? So, anyway, I've been planning this for a long time. Well, yeah, probably about a year, maybe, we'll say. So, but I kind of forgot about it. And then one morning I was laying there and I woke up and I was like, it was on my mind. I was like, I should do that today. So I did. So I went down to the hardware store. I bought all the materials I needed. I came home. I built it. I loaded everything up. And I headed to Saboas. It's a campground here in Maine. It's up by Millinocket. And my grandparents were camping there already. They had their camper set up. So I thought, this is great. I'll set up, go up there, set up, and if things don't work out with the camper setup, they have a camper with plenty of room for me. So there's no way this can go wrong. But could it go wrong? So anyway, I went out on a limb, decided I'd give it a try, and I found some flaws and, some things like that. We'll talk about it as we go into the video here. So there was a few things that weren't quite spot on with it, but not many. It actually surprised me because when you design something like that in your mind, there's usually a lot of things that you don't foresee that are problems. I think where I thought about it for like a year before I did it, though, I had pretty much considered most of the aspects anyway, and to try to get as good of an idea as I could get of what I needed to do to make it as successful as I could. So anyway, I gave it a try, and let's see how it turned out. The first clip, my clips are kind of out of order here because where it was a camping trip and everything, I couldn't film everything in order and go straight through like I normally would for a video. And the audio is kind of low, and it's because on some of the clips, most of the clips actually, because in a lot of the clips it was either nighttime or morning, and you're at a campground, and I didn't want to wake my grandparents up and all that, so I tried to be kind of quiet. So I apologize for the low audio, but I think you'll still be able to hear it okay and everything. So anyway, let's get into it. The first clip is going to be kind of a general overview of what I got going on here, and there'll be some photos and stuff inserted too. Let's jump right into this. Alright guys, so let me show you my setup here. As you can see, I have just a tarp here, and it's a 12 by 24. I didn't want to go that big originally when I took the measurements, but actually I'm glad I did. After seeing how this worked, it was just about right. Now this concept really only works if you have an 8-foot bed on your truck. Otherwise you're going to be pretty cramped. And these 5.5-foot beds, you better be pretty small. if you're going to camp in it. But with this, it gives you plenty of room. So anyway, it's real simple. As you can see, I just have it bungee corded, actually, right down into the wheels. So, and that actually, once you get everything done, that does a pretty good job. And then up here, I just tucked it down between the cab and the bed and wedged it down in there really good. And during the hurricane, this actually was doing this number, but it never offered to pull it out. So, and it never let any water down by. So that worked out really well. And then here where the tarp was so long, I actually folded this up over and then bungee corded it down into the wheels. So it gave me a big flap here on the back. And then I came down here and I took bungees and I run them through by the hitch back out to the edges and hooked them on to hold the edges down. So it allowed me flexibility in the middle, and I could lift it up and get in. I'll show you inside here in a minute. And then this is the back side. Now one thing I can say after doing this is do not short yourself on bungee cords, because literally bungee cords with this camper, the number of bungee cords is going to make or break the experience. I almost didn't have enough. As you can see on this side, it's pretty floppy, and when the wind was picking up last night, it was like up and down. But I had planned on that when I realized I didn't have enough, and I knew the wind was going to be coming from the other side, so I buttoned that side down really hard. So I still didn't get any water in on this side because the wind was blowing from the other side. But definitely, if you don't, well, even if you have bungee cords, really, if you're going to do this, I would recommend going and getting like a big tub of bungee cords, or the bag or whatever, but get the big assortment of bungee cords. Have it on hand. So here it just kind of was flopped out because I didn't have enough bungees. So anyway, and then I did the same thing on this side where I run it through to the corner of the tarp and down to the hitch. So my original thought was I was going to make this so that I could lower the tailgate, right, and then get in that way. And you can still put the tailgate down the way I have it set up, but actually I found it was easier not to put the tailgate down, just to shimmy up in there and crawl up over the tailgate. So let's go inside here. Alright, it's still kind of dark. I had some junk down here because I've been getting stuff packed up this morning. This is my last day. But anyway, you can see I have a cot right here. That's my cot. It's a normal sized cot. It only comes to right there. And this is like an arm length of extra space. Of course, I can store things underneath the cot. And beside the cot, I have probably 2 feet, 2.5 feet, depending on like where the wheel wells are. I only have like 2 feet. But let me get out my light here and shine it and help you guys out. So anyway, you can see the cot there. I put this foam bed pad down here, like camping pad, just to give me a little extra comfort. I was originally going to just sleep on the floor in here with one of those pads because I was pretty confident it was not going to leak. But right before I left, I was like, oh yeah, I have a cot, and that would keep me up off the floor just in case it leaked, and it might be a little more comfortable. So I set the cot up. I have tons of headspace. When I'm laying down, I can actually reach up, and I'm like 6'2", so I have, or 6'3", so I have really long arms, and I can actually lay down on the cot and extend my arm all the way up, and I can't touch the ceiling, so that's pretty good. Yeah, you can kind of see the structure here. This board is just floating. I think I said that in one of the clips here, but that's just a floating board because I put my canoe on the racks when I'm hauling to a campsite. And this tarp is just folded up and behind the seat of the pickup or whatever. And then when I get there, I take the canoe off and set the tarp up. So I can't have the center support screwed down because it would get in the way of having my canoe on. So I just slip it up on there when I'm ready. And last night I discovered, I mentioned this too, I believe, I discovered that this tarp is a little saggy, which I kind of expected, you know, here, and it collects some water. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to take 3 2x4s, I'm going to lay them all this way on top of each other and screw them together. And then I'm going to hook some boards to the ends here so they can't, you know, can't slide ahead or back, so that I can just hook them down over these when I get there. Right, because it's going to be all one piece. I might make a couple, but probably just one. And that'll give me extra height, which will keep the tarp tighter and give me more of a pitch to the roof. And then I can just lift that off and lay it in the bed when I want to put my canoe on. So that'll work really good. I run some support beams down through here. If you want to see the bracing, it's pretty simple. If you're wondering why this one is so much different than that rack up there, my grandfather actually made that rack because this was his pickup. And when he gave me the pickup, he's like, well, this rack doesn't fit my new pickup, so go ahead and take my rack. So I only built the one rack. So this whole deal cost me about $50. But for you want to plan on obviously making both racks. So you want to plan on probably more 80. And that would probably include the modifications here that I'm going to make on that support beam there. So yeah, probably around $80 or $90 for the whole setup. And it is great, really. That's the only major change I want to make, like to the structure, is that beam right there. I do want to get some things just for comfort. Like I want to get the Ryobi 18 volt fan just to have in here, because it does get kind of stuffy if it's really hot. I lucked out and it wasn't too bad, because it's like, what are we into, August now? So it's not like boiling hot. But it was a little stuffy the first night. Last night it was freezing cold with the hurricane, like just wind whipping. But it actually kept me really warm in here because, you know, tarp has a lot of wind blocking ability. I mean, that's what they're for, right? So anyway, guys, that's pretty much it. I mean, like you can see, I got all that room under there. I can put, even that tote slides underneath there. So it's worked out really well. This was just kind of a brainstorm I had. I was like, hey, wouldn't it be cool if... I didn't know if it would work or not, but one day I decided I was going to do it. And I got up and I went down to hardware and I got the stuff and I built it and I got my tarp and I trial fitted it in the dooryard before I left. And then it worked, so I loaded the canoe on. And away I went right into the campsite here with my grandparents. And yeah, it's worked. So it's pretty crazy. But so I'm super excited. There'll be more videos probably with this camper and improvements and different things as I go. But this is a great base model setup so far. I mean, for trial run, I'm very pleased. So yeah, I'll be back with my final thoughts. Here's a better look at the frame. This is obviously from the inside. I took that board off, that was just laid on the top. That's all you're dealing with, guys. Just a simple frame, goes right into your bed pockets down there. So you saw the first couple clips there, giving you kind of a general overview of the camper setup. And it's kind of like almost like my final thoughts first, the way I did it. Because I actually filmed that at the end of the camp trip right before. Well, the first clip was right before I took the camper down. And then the second clip was actually while I was taking it down, so I could show you the frame. So anyway, it was kind of final thoughts first there. So it gives you an idea, but stay tuned for the whole video because there's some awesome footage here. Let me say, before we transition to the next clip, actually we're going to put in some photos first probably here of some breakfasts that we made and some suppers that we made on the campfire, and photo of my grandparents in there at the campsite and some different photos. I want to say, yeah, I gotta say this. The last photo I'm gonna show before we get into the meat of all this. You're gonna see. Well, we'll let you see it, and then I'll explain it. Okay, so we're gonna put in the photos here, excluding the one photo, and then I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna explain to you the photo, and then we're gonna show you the photo. It's really funny. Stay tuned, guys. Okay, guys. So, backstory to the photo I'm about to show you. Actually, during this camping trip, and I knew this when I left, and I actually left because of this, partially. I mean, when I left home, to go on the camping trip. We were due to get a hurricane. Hurricane I. I'm calling it Hurricane I. I don't know how to say it. So anyway, which I wasn't too concerned because we have a lot of hurricanes in Maine, on and off or whatever. But they're never that severe. We just get a lot of rain. But I've never actually, gone and endured a hurricane on the waterfront before in a tarp camper. So anyway, here's the deal. It was raining, right? And we'd been sitting out there at the campfire. And if you guys know me, you know I love Rush Limbaugh. That's a political, conservative political talk radio show. So, if you don't know, but you gotta listen to him. You got to listen to him. If you haven't listened to him, and you're a conservative Republican, you gotta get out there. You gotta look and try to find the local station that he's on, and you gotta listen to it. If you can't find him on a local station, he has podcasts on YouTube, live podcasts. So you gotta watch him. Anyway, so I listen to him every day if I can, but it usually doesn't quite work out. But anyway, so I at least listen to him a couple times a week. So I brought my Ryobi radio on the camping trip, so that because my grandfather loves listening to him too. So Gigi and I were sitting around the campfire and we're listening to Rush, and Gigi's like, oh, I gotta take a nap, I'm tired, whatever. So he goes and takes a nap. So it starts raining, right? So the first thought is, I gotta protect the radio from the rain. How am I gonna do that, right? Because I'm sitting outside at a campfire. I don't want to go inside. I don't want to go get in my camper. So this is what I did. It's pretty funny. So I hope you guys got a little kick out of that. My grandmother thought it was pretty funny, so she had me take a photo of it. So I put that photo in there. So the next clip you're going to see here is actually the night of the hurricane. I didn't do any filming that first day of the first night. You heard me say in the first clip there that the first night went pretty well. It was a little stuffy, in the camper, but it wasn't too bad. So anyway, this clip is going to actually be the night that the hurricane hit. And my grandfather and I stayed up until probably close to 9 o'clock. This clip was filmed at 10:30 at night after I'd gone to bed, and I'll let you see what's going on here. This is pretty funny. Hey guys, it is 11 o'clock right now. It is insane in here. We get the hurricane, and as you can see, the tarp is going nuts. Things are getting pretty crazy. I have had to reach up and push up on the top of the tarp and let some water off. Probably 3 times so far. I went to bed around something like 9:15, and this was just starting, and there's been that much rain in that short period of time. It is literally nuts. Let me spin the camera around and show you guys some stuff here. Okay guys, so as you can see, the tarp is going insane on this side. It's just blowing like crazy mad out there, and you can see the ground down there. I actually ran out of bungees, so I didn't have as many as I thought I had with me. So this side isn't strapped down as hard as this side is, because I knew this was the side that the wind was going to come from. And I heard a big crash right before I started up the camera here, and there's actually, if you could see it, see that stick down there? It just come flying down, ka-slam right into the side of the bed, hoping it didn't dent it. It's pretty insane that way. And you can see the wind is like blowing this all. But I have this cross beam up here, center beam, that I have installed. It's actually kept the water draining decently. I mean, it's, like I said, I've had to push up a couple times, but it's been draining off really nice, considering everything factored in. One of the changes I'd like to make and an update to this would be, I would take another 2x4 like this and screw it to this one. Maybe even another one after that. So maybe 3 2x4s right here screwed to each other. So it gives me this extra roof height. So it pushes up harder on this, which is going to give me a harder pitch on the roof here, which would make it drain water better. And then this isn't actually screwed on, because I'm also using this when the tarp's off it. Like going into the campsite, these racks hold my canoe, so I can't have anything fixed for a center beam because of that. So I think then I would go on the ends of the 2x4s that are all screwed together and put some plates, kind of like these plates right here that I'm trying to point to, those, so that they hang down, so you can just slide the board down over it, but it can't move, you know. It can't fall out on this side and it can't fall out on that side. It's like hooked, but you can slide it side to side or whatever. So I think I would set it up like that, but it would give me that extra roof height, and then it would give me a sharper pitch on either side, and it would help it drain the water better. I mean, it drains it pretty good, but I don't know what would happen if we got a crap ton of water in here, like on the tarp. I don't know if it would pose a problem or not. I don't really want to try to find out tonight, but anyway, everything else is holding up really good. As you can see, there's like no water in here at all, in any of the corners or the floor. It's all dry. Up here where I stuffed it between the body and the cab, it is working beautifully. The tarp has not come out. There's no leaks. Everything is working awesome. So that is the update right now, guys. If there's anything else that happens before morning, I will let you know. Stay tuned and hang in there. This could get nuts. I don't know. Am I gonna live? I might not live. If I didn't live, you probably won't see this video. So, spoiler. Alright guys, we'll see you here in a little bit. Hey guys, it is about 4:45 now in the morning. I made it through the night. There's no water in here at all. Everything's dry. The the roof. It never rained again after the last time I checked with you guys. That's all fine. So, we made it through. We did it. Yeah, it was getting crazy. It was rocking the truck right back and forth. Like, just rocking it right back and forth. I've never seen wind like that, or at least been out in it. So it got pretty crazy out here. But I can't believe everything held up. There's like no water or anything in here. So it worked. That's the important part. So I'm gonna get up here and go outside. I have not seen outside yet. So I'm gonna cut the camera here and flip it, and then film me going outside to see what it looks like out there. It's gonna be pretty crazy. Alright guys, I'll be right back. Okay, moment of truth. What's it gonna look like outside? Now on the bumper. Wow. So, really nothing too major, guys, for damage. A few limbs are down. Small limbs. Nothing too bad. For all the racket that was going on, I expected a lot more. So I have no idea what I'll see going home. But as far as in the campsite damage, it looks pretty good all around. I expected to see a lot more because there was some like really bad banging and crashing last night. It was insane. But yeah, not bad at all. So that's pretty good. So I guess we survived. Hey guys, it's daylight now, so you can see a little bit better. See all the limbs down. Limb there. Limb there. This was the big one I was telling you about that hit the side of the truck. It sounded a lot bigger than it was, and then when I peeked under the tarp, I was like, oh my word. And then we've got nothing on this side, completely untouched, because the wind was all coming from that direction. Another one there. So it did get pretty crazy. Okay guys, so those are all the clips from the night, and you saw all the branches and stuff that were down. I got some better shots of the branches earlier in the morning, but it wasn't like surprisingly a lot of trees now. I thought it would be a lot. There was one tree. I'll insert the photo here. That tree was down. That's Mom sanding. Don't pay attention to that. That was a tree that was down across the road on my way home that morning from the camping adventure. So anyway, that was the only tree I saw that was down, actual full-size tree. But yeah, it surprised me because I was laying in bed and I heard the bang, bang, bang like that of stuff just bouncing. I guess it was just bouncing off the hood of the pickup and into the side of the bed of it, and, you know. But anyway, I thought it was going to be these great big limbs, and it wasn't, so that was kind of funny. But anyway, so there's the carnage there. The next clip you're going to see is actually kind of a... See, I film all these videos on my phone, so you can't actually do a time-lapse the way I'm set up. But it's kind of a time-lapse. It's like short clips of the sun coming up and some panning across the lake. So I hope you enjoy those. I'll insert those here. So as far as like animals and things go, we didn't see much on the camping trip. We saw a couple loons. I have a video. Put that in here. other than the loons, we didn't really see much. As far as fishing goes, I brought my canoe along, and let me say this. The original thought in the design was I was gonna put my canoe up on the racks, and then I was gonna run the tarp over the top of that, so it gave me a pitched roof. But then I got to thinking, if the canoe's up there on the racks, then the part like between the bed and the body, when you bring the tarp down, it's not gonna actually, you know, be tight around the canoe, obviously, unless you come up with like maybe those spring clamps or something. But it wasn't gonna be really humdrum and tight, which is what I wanted to keep the water out. So in the end, I decided to unload the canoe and do it that way with the one center beam and all that. So, but anyway, fishing. Yeah, I didn't really catch anything. Well, I did, but I caught a bass. It was a medium-sized bass. I got him almost into the canoe, and he spit the hook out. So that was a bummer. And I caught one pickerel. It was about that long. I kid you not. Like, he was just a baby. And he also spit the hook right before I got him in the canoe, because I don't even think his mouth is big enough to fully swallow the hook. But that was it. So that was kind of a bummer, because we had gone camping there like once before, a couple of years back, and we'd caught fish like crazy, one right after another. We had a big fish fry, but I guess it was just the time of year, because we went, I think they said in May that year, and this year it was like August, so that made a big difference in the fishing. But anyway, so that was kind of a bummer. We didn't see a whole lot, didn't catch a whole lot. I was kind of hoping I'd brought cornmeal and everything and fillet knife. I was going to cook up some fish and eat those as my primary meal. But, you know, we had fun. It was a good trip. So, anyway, guys, thank you for watching. It was a blast. It was a lot of fun. It was pretty crazy, pretty adventurous on my part. Everybody's always like, oh, you know, he doesn't adventure. Well, I do adventure. I'm here to tell you. But I'm more of a backwoodsman kind of adventurer. So, anyway, guys, this is a great project for somebody to do. If you've got a pickup with a big long bed on it like that, and I mean, it doesn't cost hardly anything. I don't know if I said in any of the clips, but I do want to get a Ryobi cordless fan. I have several different models. I want to get one of those if I do a lot of camping in this. For those nights when it's stuffy or whatever, I can set that up and keep myself semi-cool. But actually, I was surprised because I wasn't super hot, because the way I had the tarp bungeed down, I was getting like updrafts coming in through the, you know, the spots between the eyelets and the tarp. The air was kind of circulating pretty good that way, so. But still, I'd like to get a small fan or something like that I could have on the camping trip. So, but anyway, guys, thank you for watching. It was a lot of fun. It was pretty crazy. Like I said, just a spontaneous adventure on my part. It's very doable, and I have to tell you, I think I was partly inspired here by the Outdoor Boys. If you haven't watched the Outdoor Boys on YouTube, you gotta go watch them. It's a father and his 3 sons go out and do all these camping adventures, and he builds all this crazy stuff. And it kind of inspired me. I was like, well, if he can build the stuff he can build, I can build that and have it work. So, anyway, thanks for watching. It was a lot of fun. I hope this inspires you guys to get out there and do some stuff. Leave a comment what you thought. And, hey, I mean, if it survived a hurricane, it can survive anything. So, thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you later.